that two words and that line at the last page bottom where nobody sees it, what you had to really fight for that. No, I didn't really think of it like that because I never thought I was on top of my game. I literally treated it like that this person, I don't know. I never really enjoyed the journey. You're on top of the game when you're enjoying the journey. You're enjoying what you're doing on a day-to-day basis.
You didn't enjoy what you were doing?
No, I was too scared.
For all film-related interviews, reviews and content, please like and subscribe to Pooja Talwar. You can also follow me on Twitter and on Instagram.
Well, I have the two lovely ladies and I absolutely love both your characters. But tell me, when did you two realize you were the breaking news? कभी ऐसा हुआ था कि मैं breaking news बन गई हूँ?
In a good way or a bad way?
Yeah.
Either ways.
Oh, let's only remember the good
The
way.
good.
I don't want to remember the bad ways. But yeah. No, but there have been a couple of times in life that one has been breaking news. But the career that one has chosen for herself, breaking news is not bad. It's good to get some breaking news because it keeps you there.
Absolutely. And what about you?
Well, I mean, last year I had, year before last, I think, yes, I had 2-3 releases in a year. So I felt like that year was a year of a lot of breaking news because I had Guilty Minds. I also had season 1 of Broken News. Yeah, but I think with the Broken News, it actually felt like they were breaking news because it was like Jaideep, Sonali and myself coming together and it's an exciting ensemble. So this really felt like it's like out there,
And you're playing a character who is old school journalism. I'll only report facts. I'll be objective because these days what's happened is a lot of anchors become the news themselves.
I don't think that's old school journalism.
That's not
journalism.
But it's now called old school journalism because today, have you seen the news? Have you ever switched on the channel saying nation wants to know? And you're actually Googling a fact hai ya ye fiction hai, So you come from a time when there was no social media, there were no channels. We just had one Doordarshan and maybe one channel that, whatever.
I think that also made it easier to do that. And I think it's not just about journalism, but generally in life. I look at it as a parent, I'm answering your question from the parent's point of view. But if you look at it, for my, there was a time when our parents said that, I'm saying so, and you were like, my parents is saying so, that means it's right, I said it or Baba said it, that was it. But today the fact is that I had to tell my son that, Beta, I don't know, because he will have more facts about that topic, which, then you're proving, which will prove you wrong and faster in like 5 minutes. So it was more like, even I don't know, why don't we look this up together? So that was the way of parenting that changed for me from the way my parents did the parenting. And so this has kind of gone into every profession and every way of life for all of us because world has just changed so much. I mean, earlier, 25 years was a generation, then it became, say, 20 years and a generation change. Here, every 3 years, your generation is changing.
Absolutely.
We have no idea what it's doing to the human brain. We are going to, I don't think I'll be alive by the time we actually get the facts on how the human brain has evolved from all this information overload.
हो जाएगा, 2 साल में मिल जाएगा.
But this kind of information overload, this kind of information available at your fingertips literally would lead to this problem that you're talking about. It's not just about people doing this kind of a zone. I think it's also the way world has changed, the way technology has come in and what the havoc has been created by technology, I think.
Absolutely. So, now coming to your character, what is Amina? What was it first about Amina? We've spoken about that. And now, how did her trajectory, her journey impress you as an actor that you were like, this is a character that I could keep playing on and sink my teeth into?
I don't know about playing a character on and on because for me, I think people who come from theatre background kind of love playing a character on and finding that new thing in it and which is beautiful. But I find that I hate using the word bored, but it's about, I want to move on from that now, I want to try newer things. So I like moving on from things and, looking for newer things. And I think that is also Amina somewhere. And that I think was very attractive about Amina, about, when you're a certain age and you've been lived a certain, and especially with the kind of power that Amina has seen and the kind of, she's been at the top of her game for so long. From that to accept that the times have changed and then say that, okay, I give up. She does go that. In season 1, you see that she says that maybe this is it and, this is the end of it. And then she picks herself up and says that no, this can't be the end of it. I gave up so much. This is what I love doing. So how do I adapt? How do I change? And how do I evolve? And that I thought was the beauty of Amina. The hope that she has, that life goes on. And when you have that hope, then you want to move ahead.
Yeah. And before I come to Shriya, I want to ask you, as you said, that she was on top of her game. I mean, the thing is, you continue being, because it's a 90s era vibe. You were the poster girl, of cool, because you looked a certain way. You were one of the fittest stars. Back in those days, everyone looked at you like one should have a body like Sonali. But did you resonate with her as an...
And being thin is different.
Yeah.
No, which I totally agree.
I don't think I was fit. I was thin.
You weren't fit? You felt
I feel I could have been fitter because I didn't come from a background of sports or workout.
Right.
And that is something that I miss. I mean, today when I look back, I wish I was working out earlier.
Yeah. But did you resonate with your own journey as an actor, like top of a game, 90s, took a break, came back, reinvented herself?
No, I didn't really think of it like that because I never thought I was on top of my game.
Really?
I do feel that that's still to happen.
Really?
Yeah, I genuinely feel that.
Oh.
I never felt I was on top of my game. I was so raw when I got into the industry, not trained as an actor, not trained as a dancer, that I was just fumbling and learning on the job, and that kept me nervous, and I never really enjoyed the journey. You're on top of the game when you're enjoying the journey. You're enjoying what you're doing on a day-to-day basis.
You didn't enjoy what you were doing?
No, I was too scared.
Scared to ask for what you wanted?
No, because I knew that I had to catch up on a lot, because I was not, and by the time I started getting on top of my game, it was time, the roles were not coming, the kind of roles that you would want were not there. And I wanted more than just those songs, and so it was nice. I had a child by then. It was nice to take that break and say that, okay, let me reassess this whole situation. So, yeah.
What fascinates me about this is that from an audience perspective, when, I've looked at Sonali, I have seen this beautiful, talented actor who is so self-assured. Now, we, as an audience, we don't know what's happening in your heart.
Likewise.
Because the confidence with which, whether it's a dance or your scenes. Exactly. And I think, I think that's always so beautiful because actors are always vulnerable. No matter what, we're always vulnerable, and because we're putting ourselves out there. But to have had this internal journey, but at the same time, you don't even realize how awesome you are, and I think that makes you even more awesome because there are people who know how awesome they are, and that makes them less awesome.
No, she has a point here. We all looked up to you because, 90s you were like Sonali Bendre. What do we look like Sonali Bendre? Like she was like...
But even beyond looks, I would say
look
even
at
beyond
acting,
looks,
you, as you said, I'll come to that. First, I want to ask you, Radha is like on a war path now.
Totally.
As I said, now, rebel with a cause.
Yes.
And adding to that, it's just interesting the kind of roles you are getting to, as she spoke about hers.
Yeah.
Your journey has been fabulous in the last 2 years, Shriya?
Thank you.
Every time I meet her, she's doing something very different.
Yeah, and so different. It's amazing the kind of, look at the range that she portrays. She's awesome.
Now, I'm very grateful, and I keep wanting to do things wherein I break the last character I have done, because the worry is always that the tendency for people to stereotype you and box you happens very quickly in the industry. So I feel like I often anticipate that, और मैं ऐसा कुछ अगला करना चाहती हूँ जो शायद लोग expect ना करें. That's always the aim. With Radha, oh my God, I don't think I've played a character who's as much on the edge, and she has been really hurt, betrayed, and failed by the people around her in season 1. So now she's back with a vengeance in a rebellious mode. And more than anything else, she comes from a space of who am I in this world of news reporting? I started off with certain ideals. She has a whole lot of respect for Amina, but she feels like nobody understands her. And when a character has gone through something like being sent to jail and being called a terrorist by a leading news reporter, like what Jaideep's character plays, she feels like, who's going to stand up for myself now? Who's going to stand up for me? Sorry. And that's when she sort of decides that, okay, if the straight path is not leading me to the truth, I'm going to take some twists and turns, and I'm going to be loud and clear this time. So I feel like she crosses the line in many ways, and I don't want to give spoilers. You'll have to, watch the show. But people will understand where Radha's coming from and maybe see themselves, because we've all felt like Radha at different stages in our lives.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Irrespective of profession and field. And with news reporting also, a lot of the times things get so personal. the news gets personal, journalists get personal with people, and sometimes the way news is given or the way articles are written, they are much more than stating facts. Sometimes they're meant to poke you.
Clickbait was the
Clickbait.
word I heard, and I didn't know what it meant. This
Yeah.
was 7 years ago. I said,
Yeah.
clickbait kya hota hai?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get
So our
that.
show is super, super relevant, and the best part about the Broken News is that it shows all aspects of news reporting
Yeah.
and the world of, this media.
And you know, Sonali, it's interesting what she said, because now they have a medium. Like, now your son is the next generation. They have a medium. They have a voice. Your time, I remember Ravina also saying, she said, koi kuch bhi likh deta tha, you could not protest, and then an apology would come on chotu line that nobody would see. Was that
And you had
frustrating?
to really fight for that apology. And they would hope that it would just personally bol diya, I'm not putting even that two words and that line at the last page bottom where nobody sees it. You had to really fight for that.
Was that like a frustrating time, and did you sometimes feel like I've been misquoted, I've not been quoted at all, and somebody's just written what they want to?
Yeah, totally, because then you shut yourself out from there. So for me, it never really, it was more like they were talking about somebody which even I didn't know. I literally treated it like that this person I don't know. So it came to a point where it was, I'm a fast learner. So it happens to you once, twice. By third time, you say, okay, this is how I deal with it. These are the 10 people who know about me. I know what my truth is, and rest of you don't matter to me. And you just shut everything else out, and you say that this is not the person. I don't know who you're talking about. I'm trying to explain it. If you cannot understand what I'm trying to explain, you don't want to understand. So you understand that there are people in life, and that's not just for the actors, for all of us, who listen, and there are people who only hear their own voice. They're not really listening to what you're saying.
That's happening with Dipankar.
They are not interested. They are not interested.
True.
They have an image of you in their head. They have what you call the clickbait was then the headline. They have that headline. This is what they want to say, and this is what works for them. So everything else that you genuinely and eagerly want to tell them that I'm this also, they are not interested. So then it came to a point where you know that this is what you want, this is what it is. So you do that bit and you move on from there. That okay, these are the promotions, I have to promote the thing. This is what I do.
उस टाइम तो promotions भी नहीं थे.
Of course, they
थोड़ा premiere होता था.
Everywhere, no, we would travel then also to do, or then the journalists would get flown down to the sets from across.
On the sets, I remember reporting on the sets.
The north media, the media from the south, and then the central India.
Yeah.
There were all these various things, and from east, from Kolkata also, they would come. So there were a lot of times, even if the actors were not going, then they would be called in. So of course there were promotions, and you were doing it. And in fact, for me, it was my way of entertaining myself, where I would tell the same journalist a totally different thing the next time, and they never made out the difference. And for me, it was a laugh in my head. Yeah, got you. You're not really interested.
Oh,
So doing that through my career, I've done that all the time.
And you can tell when someone's actually listening and when they're not
yeah,
listening. And
absolutely.
as actors, we're saying the same things over and over again, and we also have to try and keep it interesting. So sometimes we just
you
say
just
something.
Say for effect, and it's not, oh really, okay. And I'm like, dude, if you heard what I was saying, you would know that this is exactly opposite of what I was telling you the last time. But obviously you're not listening, so you know how much of yourself to put into that.
True.
And it's really interesting to see that dichotomy, of the time she represented. Now she's still relevant. I'm not making her like. And you, I mean, have you had that challenge? Because in your there is just so much every day. Your social media, you're active on Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. You just have noise.
So I'll tell you honestly, like you very correctly said, you'll have a lot of voice, a lot of advice, but you have to identify the voice that is truest to yourself. Now, because I'm not really a content creator, for me, I'm not perpetually needing to capture everything. I try not to stress myself about ye bhi lena hai, wo bhi lena hai. I'm present as much as possible. But you have to accept social media is a very important part. And to me, it's like a digital scrapbook. I also use it as a way. That is where I can show my personality. That is where I can show a side to me that people don't have access to. And like she said, sometimes everything that comes out is so selective that here I do have the freedom to say what I want, to be myself, to portray an aspect of me that's authentic to me. So there are pros because it's also been so empowering for people who've not had a platform, right?
Yeah.
We've had so much talent out there on social media from small villages, that have risen up. It's been an alternate source of income, which it is. Even, I think for me, financially, social media is also a great place to sort of make money. However, I have consciously made a decision not to allow it to stress me. Because I know it stresses out a lot of people and then it's not worth it. Khane ja rahe, then all your focus is constantly, you're not very present.
I totally get that.
So I try to not do that. And at the same time, I'm also aware that for me, my representation or my work as an actor is not just my social media image. It has to be with the quality of work that I'm doing.
Absolutely.
And social media supports that. If, for example, if I tend to get parts that are probably just more like courtroom dramas or thrillers and say I want to do a rom-com, maybe I put up certain kinds of images or videos like that. Maybe I sort of tell my audience. So that is what's in my control. And like she said, it's actually such a big relief that today anything you can express yourself. But too much bhi nahi kar sakte because then you have our wonderful trolls who will also find a reason if they've had a bad day, they'll find a reason to bring you down. So.
But in your case also, now I see a lot of people, whether it's Zeenat Aman and all, expressing themselves because now there's nothing to hide and also they've got a platform. But also, did you feel, there's also an interesting thing that Zeenat Aman said that, sometimes they create the boundaries, the industry, and don't let you skip beyond those boundaries as an actor. Was that a challenge that you also faced? They were not letting you, or as you said, you were just learning that you didn't notice that these boundaries were created for you?
This is a question that makes me think because to be really honest, if you look at what are the boundaries that are invisible and you realize it's not just the industry, but as I grow older, I realize that as a woman, as a girl, there have been boundaries that have been invisible to me. And as I grow older, and if I look at, I don't have a daughter, but when I look at my niece and I say, oh my God, this was a boundary for me and I didn't realize it, but I don't want that for her. And that kind of awareness only comes when you live life and you realize that it's not intentional, it's not something that my mother did because that was the way it was. So a lot of things were just, that was the way it was. You just did not know better and now it's changing. There is conversations about it. And is it ideal? No, not yet. There's a lot more that can happen. But at least the conversation has started and hopefully this conversation only grows from here and doesn't digress into, there will always be glass ceilings. And I will talk as a woman for somebody else who's marginalized. There will always be that. That's society. And the point is that you try to get as much above that as you can. And this, I think, because of social media and internet, there is just so much more of an opportunity to kind of break those glass ceilings, which was never there before.
What did you think then you couldn't have done, but you're doing now?
I'm putting my point of view across. There's so many people who say that, oh, we didn't know. I was always this person. But you didn't know because that was never put across like that. Or even for that matter, if there's something that's bothering you and you just like, okay, I just need to put this out. At least you know that this blue tick gives that this is where I am and this is what I stand for and this is what was the reality. Now there are always going to be a few who are never going to believe you. But at least I have an opportunity and a place where I say, this is not true, this is what happened. And that's that. That itself gives me the peace where I can let go of that topic from there. But till you can't put that out, it always festers in you because you're like, but I'm not able to say it. It feels like you've been gagged. This just lets you let it out there. So,
and if I may add, so much of being in the showbiz is the perception you've created, right? You are you, Sonali, Shriya, but the image, the brand Sonali and the brand Shriya, that sort of perception, a lot of the times that's not necessarily in our hands and that's defined by work or a certain public image. Yeah. But you often feel, but there's so much more to me.
And that's social media.
That I think today we can sort of put that out there because people, like you said, they would like you to stay exactly where you are.
Yeah.
They're not going to want you to move. So you got to want to move.
Absolutely. And it's amazing. I mean, before I wrap up, it's amazing that you're seeing actors like you getting that platform. Earlier, you would have just got that ma wo role, but you're playing your age, and women our age are leading as of now. They're on top of the game. So is that also liberating?
Of course it is. I mean, there was hope when multiplexes came in, and we were very excited because, more kind of, more voices could be heard. There were more storytellers and different kinds of stories that were being told. But with the advent of OTT, that it just went through the roof, and the kind of stories that can be told, and the platform that's available for different types of storytellers is amazing.
Okay,
Earlier, you didn't have that kind of a thing. You needed to tell a certain kind of story because it is a commercial business, and you needed to. It needed to make business sense. So those were the stories that could be put out there.
And it's amazing to see women, the films doing way better on the box office. I mean, we still call it women-centric, but they are the ones drawing in the crowds because people are now bored seeing the alpha male doing the same old thing.
Really?
And
After Animal, you say that?
I mean, not Animal, there are others also, the action.
No, I love the film.
I haven't seen it, so I'm not commenting.
It's not about, I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. There was something in that kept me hooked to it. And that's what commercial cinema is, that it keeps you hooked, keeps you saying fantastic music and what amazing acting. So definitely there is something to it. Now, it's your part. Like, you can like a certain film, you might not like a certain film, that might not appeal to you. But it's definitely a unique way and a new way of telling a certain kind of a story, which woke me up. Let me say that. When you sit in there, you're watching, there's so much of content, I'm like, oh, what is this? And that, I think, is in today's day and age, is what is the thing, that what is
this?
Is it waking you up?
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
And that's what art does. Isn't art supposed to wake you up?
No, absolutely. I was not implying at Animal, it's good and bad cinema. It's your perception.
Yeah.
What you may like, I might not. It's personal taste.
Yeah.
But now I'm just saying, like, seeing the success of a crew, Laupata Ladies.
Yeah.
It's like great time because you're getting to play so many more characters.
Especially when you're not seeing the woman as the role of a wife, a daughter, a sister.
bechari.
You are seeing the woman in all her glory, strengths and vulnerabilities, doing what she does best.
Yeah.
And this could also be a character of a homemaker, but seeing her as just her wholesome self. So I love that, Amina, Radha have been, and even other characters have been written in such a, not in a one-dimensional way.
Yeah,
but
they're
just in a
gender neutral.
wholesome
They
way.
can be anyone.
Yes.
Like, she is a wife, she is a mother,
Yes.
she's an actor.
But she's also her.
She's also
just
herself.
Sonali.
So, I mean, there is no parameter of what a
Exactly.
feminist is.
Exactly.
Last question, a rumor about you that whatever was written, you were like, ye sahi nahi hai, and one rumor that you really wished was true. To both of you now.
ऐसे कोई rumor specifically आए नहीं हैं आपके?
So for me, I would say that the rumor that as soon as you ask comes to my mind, I can't even talk about it right now. So because it's sub judice and stuff like that, but it is, so that I can't. But there have been, usually it would have been like, the gossip about relationships and all, which were non-existent, and so those would be the rumors. And the rumor about me that is true, I don't know. I haven't heard such a rumor still. Maybe I should start.
Yeah, I was just thinking. Yeah, honestly, I mean, Sonali and I have given so many interviews. I guess it's not.
Let's start
there's
a rumor.
nothing really. Yeah, let's start a rumor that we're now doing some kick-ass like buddy cop film, you and I, or something like that.
It would be amazing, both of you. I would love to see that. Or a Thelma Louise.
Ooh, that'll be so fun.
Yeah.
Or like a coming-of-age road trip.
I would love it.
Let's write it, Sonali.
Why don't they do it? Why don't they do it? Coming of age, or a older woman, younger man.
What?
After the promotions are over, we'll discuss it.
Absolutely.
Done.
You got to write these parts, man.
Right,
Totally.
these parts, as I said. Thank you so much.
Thank
And,
you.
Sonali, last question, your book club, what was the intent behind it? Because it's interesting. What was the intent?
So I was not on social media and not very keen on it also. But there were so many things that fly around in social media. And my team was like, we can't keep correcting this, and it doesn't make any sense. And they were like, listen, we need that blue tick so that we can just put things out there and correct it, because we can't deal with this otherwise. So you need to be on it so that we can. And then when I got onto it, and I said, oh my God, this is so amazing, because I think there's such an amazing side to it. I love the positive side to social media is amazing. I love the reach it has. I love how democratic it is. So there are beautiful things to social media. It's a tool. It's how you use the tool.
Absolutely.
And I thought it was a beautiful way to use this tool by, forming a book club. And at that point of time, I was out of this habit of reading books, after having had my child, and I really wanted to get back. I said, look, if I start a book club and if I discuss it, then I have to read the book.
I want to
and
join
do the
this
thing.
now.
So please
Yeah,
join it.
I'm also
Because
joining
I'm
it.
inspired.
It just gets me to read because,
Yeah.
and now I'm facing even more of it now because we are so used to getting quick
Yeah.
answers.
Yeah.
That long form reading is like, so when there's a book club and when you have to do the conversation, you have to read the book. So it's just a discipline. And so
Awesome.
like I said, social media, the tool, book club was just a way of using that tool in a positive way.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank
and
you.
awaiting a third season. That's why I said keep playing the character because we love Amina and Radha. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Bye.
If you've liked this interview, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram.